Before we start real quick, I do have one thing to tell you, which is there is a lot of seating at the front here still, and if you are a person for whom wooden pews is quite uncomfortable, the back row does have many unclaimed cushions that are movable. You are welcome to take them. Now let's get singing, shall we? Oh, it's my job to tell you that. Let's start with hymn number 235, Deck the Halls. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, la 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 la. Blow the ancient Yuletide carol, la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, la 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 la. While I tell the Yuletide treasure, la 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 la. That's the way the old year passes, la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses, la 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 la. Sing we girls all together, la 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 la. Wings of the wind and weather, la 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 la. Next, we've got 239, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Shepherds kept their watching, nor silent thoughts by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the baby's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in the lowly manger, the humble babe was born, and God sent us salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Next on our merry little docket, O little town of Bethlehem, 246. Little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless street, the silent
Next we have 254, the first 3 verses of Sing We Now of Christmas. There's a star in the east. There's a star in the east on Christmas morn. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. It will lead to the place where the baby is born. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. And leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Leave your sheep and leave your rams. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Next is 259, We Three Kings. And a note on this one, we'll be doing it the traditional way, not the written way when the chorus enters.
Following young
Hymn 233, Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella, one of my personal favorites.
Bring a torch, Jeanette Isabella, bring a torch and quickly ride. Christ is born, good folk of the village, Christ is born, and Mary's calling up, up, beautiful is the mother, up, beautiful is the son. Come and see within the stable, come and see the Holy One. Come and see the lovely Jesus, proud, his cheeks are rosy, hush, hush, quietly now he slumbers, hush, hush, quietly now he sleeps.
And last we have 245, Joy to the World.
Welcome, young and old, to our annual Christmas Eve candlelight service. I am Sunny McMillan, the minister here at Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship, and my pronouns are she and her. I am delighted to share leadership of this service with my colleague and affiliated minister at Buff, Reverend Barbara Wells Tinhove. We also have wonderful music provided by Melanie Reich, Ben Workman-Smith, and our choirs. Tonight's service includes the Christmas story, lots of wonderful music, darkness, and candles. Before we move deeper into our service, we invite you to please turn off your cell phones. The only ringing we want around here tonight is that of Christmas bells.
And it will be quite dark when the lights go out. So it's good to be prepared for that. And though most of the music we will sing with the lights up, we will sing Silent Night in the darkness, but we're only going to sing the first verse a few times, and humming is always acceptable. And Sunny and I are going to show you now in the light what we will do later in the darkness, which is lighting our candles. So, in order to keep wax off the floor, unlit candles should bow to the light. So if your candle is lit, do not tilt it. Hold it straight up and let the unlit candle, it'll be very obvious when it's happening. But please, let's try doing that. So, now let us continue into worship by listening as Melanie plays our prelude. Tonight's service reflects both the liberal spirit of our faith as well as the ancient traditions of this blessed time. And it's our hope that these moments together will provide all of us with beauty and reflection and fulfillment. So let's continue enjoying that beauty by singing together our first carol. Well, it's not really our first, having just sung a bunch of them, but within the service. And it's O Come All Ye Faithful. Now, we're going to sing the chorus in Latin, just so you can feel really smart. And the Latin words go like this. Venite adoremus. Can you say that?
Venite adoremus.
And we say that again. Venite adoremus. We say it one more time. Venite adoremus. And then we say Dominum.
Domino.
Easy peasy. So... That's the special verse, the easy peasy verse.
Easy peasy, ecclesiastical or vulgar?
Yeah, we're not walking down that road there, Ben. So let's sing together, hymn 253 in your gray hymnals, 253, O Come All Ye Faithful. And we won't sing the full Latin verse, just the chorus in Latin. So let's rise and body your spirit and sing together. O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. The humble shepherds hastening to his cradle, leaving their flocks in the fields, draw near. We too with gladness thither bend our footsteps. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Sing choirs of angels, sing in exaltation, sing
I call us to worship this evening with words by Sidney Wilde. We are here this Christmas Eve to be together, to feel the warmth of human bodies, a reassurance against the cold of this winter night.
We come to fill our eyes with the light of candles, to fill our ears with the sounds of music, to fill our hearts with the wonder of new hope, hope for the love of one another, hope for peace on earth with goodwill toward all.
Give us this night that inner peace, which comes from the knowledge that we are not alone, but we are here together, common hopes, common dreams, common resolves shared.
Give us this night the joy and wonder which fills our souls with the knowledge that we are a part of the interweaving patterns of the human and the divine. Each of us a spark of light in the universe. Together a brilliance which calls forth the promise of Bethlehem. Together may we realize that promise. This piece of music that our Phoenix choir is going to sing is a Nigerian song written in the Yoruba language, and you'll hear the word Bethlehem in there, Betelehemu, and you will also hear lots of other words that mean mostly praise and thanks for this wonderful story, for this wonderful child. Betelehemu.
Every time we worship as a religious community here, we light a flame in the chalice. It's a sign and symbol of our church and of our faith. This ritual feels especially significant this time of year when we are traveling through the longest, coldest nights. As Kivrin and Jane kindle this chalice, may we also kindle the light in our own hearts and remember the light we create when we gather in a spirit of love. May we ignite hope and meaning in the familiar songs and stories we share tonight, and may we be fully present with the gift of this time together.
Estanean de tonwa Jesus atonia, onnoa tewanda kinonyando asquayantak, and no chenes quatriotat non yundoyan rachata, Jesus Tonia, Jesus Tonia. The song is commonly known as the Huron Carol, or in our hymnal as "'Twas in the Moon of Wintertime." And our lyrics that we read in the hymnal is a little bit different from the original Wendat translation. And I want to read that translation for you as the rest of Chalice comes up. Have courage, humans. Jesus, he is born. Behold, it has fled, the spirit who had us as prisoner. Do not listen to it, as it corrupts our mind, the spirit of our thoughts. They are spirits, coming with a message for us, the sky people. They are coming to say, come on, be on top of life, rejoice. Mary's just given birth. Come on, rejoice. 3 have left for such a place. They are men of great matter. They praised a name many times, saying, hooray, he is good in nature. They greeted him with respect, oiling his scalp many times, saying, hooray, we will give to him honor to his name. Let us oil his scalp many times, show reverence for him. As he comes to be compassionate with us, it is providential that you love us and think, I should make them part of my family. And I wanted to read this to you as it's a testament to how those earlier missionaries sometimes treated this spirit of Christmas Eve as a transmission of knowledge rather than a domination of will.
Was in the morn of winter time.
As many of you know, the Christmas story is found in 2 of the 4 Gospels, Matthew and Luke. Though the tales of Jesus' birth were written long after his death, they have a power and beauty that has lasted for 2,000 years. Here is the story from both Gospels, crafted into this form by Reverend Jeff Briere. In the middle, we'll listen as Jane Ronka Washburn sings for us.
In those days, Caesar Augustus decreed that the people of the world should be counted. And so Joseph left Nazareth in Galilee and traveled to Judea to be counted with Mary, his wife, who was great with child. He went to Bethlehem, the city of David, because he was of the house and lineage of David. While they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Now Jesus was born in the days of Herod the king. In Jerusalem, wise men from the east came to seek an audience with a newborn child whom they called King of the Jews. They had seen his star in the east and had come to worship him. When Herod heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. So he gathered the chief priests and the scribes together and demanded of them where this new king would be born. After consulting scripture, they determined that it must be in Bethlehem of Judea. Then Herod called the Magi into private council and inquired of them anxiously when the star appeared, that is, to know exactly when the new king was born. And he encouraged them to go to Bethlehem. And he said, "Go and search diligently for the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word again that I may go and honor him also."
Within the shining of a star, we catch a glimpse of who we are. In every infant born we see the hope of our nativity. The miracle of each new birth can shake and save the stony earth. Triumphantly, the newborn's cry strikes echoes from the waiting sky.
So the wise men departed for Bethlehem. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, until it came and stood over the place where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced. And when they came into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And they opened their treasures and presented him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
In the same country, shepherds were abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, an angel came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. But the angel spoke soothingly to them. "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, for you and for all people. For today in Bethlehem is born a Savior, and this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger."
And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God And it's saying, on earth peace, goodwill toward all. And let's sing about those angels. Carol 231, angels we have heard on high. Please rise in body or spirit, and we'll sing together. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Every month, Buff takes a special social and environmental justice collection, welcoming a representative from a local nonprofit or activist group to share the good work they are doing in our community and to ask for our financial support. The Social and Environmental Justice Committee, or SEJC, as you may hear it heard around Buff, carefully selects these organizations out of many who have applied. Traditionally, however, the Christmas Eve special collection has been the minister's choice, and it has historically gone to Interfaith Coalition of Whatcom County. Before we go any further, I want to specifically thank all those Buffsters who generously gave this season through Interfaith Coalition's Winter Coat and Holiday Joy programs. Thanks to Buff, Interfaith Coalition received generous gifts and gift cards for unhoused and income-challenged families and children. Our partnership and work with Interfaith Coalition continues. However, because of the unique and unprecedented challenges and threats facing our immigrant neighbors at this very moment in time, we are doing something a little different for this 2025 Christmas Eve special collection. With input and wisdom from the Social and Environmental Justice Committee, and in keeping with the spirit of contributing to interfaith ministries, I have decided that tonight's special collection will go to Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support. Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support, or WFCIS, as you may see it called, is made up of representatives from 24 different faith communities and traditions in Whatcom County. The organization provides support, resources, and food to our immigrant neighbors. Several Buffsters, including Mike Betts, Ann Stevenson, and Natalie Johnson's wife, Sue Stendebach, are involved with Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support. One of the primary sources of outreach that the organization offers is through provision of food. Specifically, through a network of volunteers, groceries are delivered to families, most of whom are too terrified to leave their homes right now for fear of arrest and deportation. We cannot share here tonight individual stories of those who have received assistance, as that would put those folks at risk. We can share, however, that 60% of the families have children under 5, and 95% of the families served are young mothers or grandmothers caring for their families, having lost the primary earner in their household to detention or deportation. These are families right here in our community, yet living in the shadows, afraid to be in public, even to shop for survival necessities like food. Since March, Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support has served 65 families, adding new families each week due to detentions at workplaces, schools, and even our courts in Whatcom County. Through the organization's liaisons who work directly with these folks, the families have shared that the connection through food with the larger community is deeply appreciated and makes them feel like they continue to be a part of our community. Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support will continue in its efforts to ensure that all immigrant families have food during this crisis. Let's help them keep this incredible work going with our financial support tonight. The ushers will now come forward to collect donations, 100% of which will go to Whatcom Faith Community Immigrant Support. Our reading tonight comes from Howard Thurman. It's called Candles for Christmas. I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of graces to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all the year long. And now I invite you to turn in your hymnal or your sheet music that you have. Number 244, It Came Upon the Midnight Clear, which Barbara will lead us in.
Body or spirit? We're going to do just the first 3 verses.
In the lead up to this year's Christmas Eve service, I got a few inquiries from folks who wanted to know just how Christian will Buff's Christmas Eve service be? I get it. I was healing from some of my own religious wounding at one point in my life and had to step away from Christmas Eve services for a while. Even without any religious wounding, Unitarian Universalists have such an interesting relationship to the Christianity of our heritage, to the Bible, to the story of Jesus' birth. Much like our relationships with our own human families of origin, our UU relationship to the Bible and its Christmas story is varied and complex, sometimes even a bit dysfunctional. We each bring our own experience, our own baggage to this Christmas Eve holiday. My supervising minister at the Unitarian Society of New Haven when I was an intern, Reverend Stephen Kendrick, went a long way toward helping me appreciate the Christmas story. He was a UU through and through, having entered the ministry back in 1981, serving congregations in Connecticut at the beginning of his career, then spending 21 years as the senior minister of First Church Boston, before finally coming to New Haven for a few short years before finally retiring for good. Reverend Stephen had no qualms about expressing his deep love of all things Christmas. He adored most everything about this holiday, even the story of Jesus' birth in the Gospels, which he had initially learned as a child growing up in the Episcopal Church. And he wasn't afraid to go there in a holiday sermon. In a Christmas talk he gave during my final year at the Unitarian Society of New Haven, he said, "I found that I had to grow up and experience life in all its dimensions before I began to even dimly understand the Christmas stories that I'd been given as a child." Under his mentorship, I too began to appreciate some of those stories in a new way. So tonight, I will share a few theological tidbits inspired by Reverend Stephen in hopes that you too might appreciate this very old biblical Christmas story in a new and present way. And no matter your thoughts or feelings about Jesus and his arrival, whether as mere mortal or divine being, whether a savior or just an inspiring ancient social activist, I would argue that the Christmas story surrounding his birth is both relatable and relevant to our present day experience. There is wisdom and inspiration to be had there. As noted earlier, the Christmas story that Barbara and I read is based on the Gospels as edited by UU minister Reverend Jeff Briere. In his version, Briere combined the stories from the Gospel of Matthew and Luke. Out of the 4 total Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, only the Gospels of Matthew and Luke mention Jesus' birth. And in Briere's telling, the 2 stories come together easily, combining seamlessly. Taken separately, however, the story of Jesus' birth in these 2 Gospels is actually quite different. Turning our attention first to Matthew, we find a gospel that, according to biblical scholars, is a gospel written by men and for men. This fact is not necessarily surprising, as in the Roman Empire of the ancient Near East, with few exceptions, women always ranked below men in the hierarchical order of things. So in Matthew, it also is not surprising that Jesus' birth is foretold through Joseph, who is given the most main character energy of all the folks involved in the version of the story that appears in Matthew. Joseph is the one having the prophetic dreams, getting the visits from angels, and directing the action. As Matthew's story goes, Mary and Joseph were engaged, but then Mary was, quote, found to be with child. Now, in those days, to be with child before marriage was a problem. It was most certainly grounds for Joseph calling off the marriage, but ancient law would even have permitted Mary's execution by stoning. Such was the dishonor of a premarital pregnancy. To Joseph's credit, however, Matthew tells us that Joseph did not want to bring harm or disgrace upon Mary, so he was planning to dismiss her quietly. Before he was able to do so, however, he had a dream in which an angel told him to keep his plans of taking Mary as his wife. The angel also told him Mary would bear a son, and Joseph was to name him Jesus. So yes, the man Joseph is centered in this telling, but he was apparently a progressive man for his time, a man who was not afraid to brave cultural disgrace and dishonor to stay with his pregnant fiancée. We also uniquely find in Matthew's gospel the Magi, the wise men who from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." Biblical scholarship suggests these wise men were court priests, probably from Parthia, which is a region of Iran. These wise men practiced magic and astrology and were likely from the Zoroastrian religious tradition in Persia, thus their focus on the star that led them to the babe in a manger. But these wise men were crafty too, for here enters the villain of our story, King Herod. By all accounts, Herod is a narcissistic, power-hungry madman who fears anyone who might stand in his way. King Herod is even threatened by baby Jesus, who he plans to eliminate. But the wise men were on to Herod, having been warned about him in a dream, so they returned to their home in the east by another road. Joseph then reappears in the story, having another dream of his own. This time, the angel tells him to take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, otherwise Herod would destroy the child. So Joseph took Jesus and Mary, and they made a run for Egypt. Herod, madman that he was, and enraged that Jesus had escaped his clutches, then ordered that all children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under be killed. And so we have in Matthew's version of the Christmas story a man who flouts custom and culture to be a progressive dad, a vulnerable child, and a poor family on the run, pursued by empire. A madman who so desperately clings to his power that he would hunt down children. And a group of wise men who, guided by their own intuition and cosmic compass, engage in an overt and dangerous act of civil disobedience. These are, I think, examples that could be lifted from our very own times. And then we have Luke's telling, a gospel with a completely different vibe than Matthew's. Because in Luke, the feminine is centered. The Gospel of Luke opens with the story of Elizabeth, who we are told is not only beyond her childbearing years, but barren. Miraculously, after her husband receives a visit from an angel foretelling of her pregnancy, she conceives. Now, in the story, her husband is apparently a man of little faith because he doesn't believe the angel and as a result is struck mute. The action of the story then moves forward through Elizabeth. Meanwhile, her husband remains unable to speak again until Elizabeth gives birth, and he confirms the name that Elizabeth gives the baby. Elizabeth names the child John, who will become later in the story John the Baptist. We also learn that 6 months after Elizabeth conceives, the angel returns, this time to Mary, who is told that she too will have a son, and she is to name him Jesus. Notice that in Luke, it is Mary, not Joseph, who receives the news from the angel. It is Mary who is given the responsibility of naming the child. She also is told that her relative Elizabeth is pregnant, and with the exciting news of Elizabeth's pregnancy, Mary goes with haste to see her. Upon her arrival, we are told that, quote, when Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the child leaped in her womb. Mary would stay with her friend for 3 months before returning home. 2 women, relatives, friends, both miraculously pregnant and celebrating together, staying with and supporting one another for a few months of their respective pregnancies. Such a relatable story that we could easily see happening today. The verses that follow this scene in Luke are quite famous beyond biblical circles, as the verses that follow make up the Magnificat, the canticle or song of Mary. You may be thinking this is just a stuffy, archaic, inaccessible Latin song. But Mary's words speak of revolution. In a time when the poor and disabled were often social pariahs, thought to be cursed by God and deserving of their lot, Mary speaks of a holy power that brings down the powerful from their thrones, lifts up the lowly, fills the hungry with good things, and sends the rich away empty. Mary's song speaks of a world where equality and justice and beloved community reign. In Luke's telling, when Mary finally gives birth, it is not the wise men, representatives of a royal court, who come to see her child, but shepherds who have been tending their sheep in a nearby field. They too have been visited by an angel who shared the news of Jesus' birth, encouraging them to go to this child, whose arrival will bring great joy to many. The visit from the shepherds marks the end of Luke's birth story. No fleeing to Egypt with Herod in hot pursuit. Just a few concluding verses about the family following Jewish custom by bringing the baby to the temple, about words of blessing and prophecy spoken over the baby, after which we are told that the child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, with the favor of God upon him. Matthew and Luke, one birth, 2 very different perspectives on that birth, 2 very different Christmas stories. Each, however, offering, I think, relatability, even inspiration for the times in which we now find ourselves. Through this story, we are given the example of courage and civil disobedience in the face of a brutal empire, of progressive values and social ideals that were ahead of their time, of the birth of a baby that brings joy to his parents and his community. Even 2,000 years later, in a Unitarian Universalist fellowship, there is much to appreciate about the Christmas story. On this Christmas Eve of 2025, may we each find what we most need from this Christmas story. And now we will sing number 241, In the Bleak Midwinter. Barbara will lead us.
Let's rise and body your spirit. It's number 241. It is Christmas. Hallelujah. A season of joy and love. But it is also the darkest time of the year. And it is in this dark time that we celebrate light, even as we remember the darkness.
There are times when darkness can be frightening, when the shadows of hate and evil spread across the land. In these times of darkness, we light candles of hope to remind ourselves that love exists, that hope abides.
And there are times when the darkness is comforting, when it hides our tears and gives us quiet moments of rest. In these times, we light candles to help us see the dark just a little bit better, just as the stars at night make the darkness glimmer.
On Christmas Eve, we remember the darkness of winter, of animal stable, of the womb.
On Christmas Eve, we remember the light, the flicker of a star, the flame of new birth, the light of hope come to our world.
So tonight, let us enter the darkness for a moment. Join us as we feel the darkness around us and listen to its rhythm.
Into the darkness, we bring our light. We light this candle for joy. May it shine for all who find delight, even in the midst of challenge and struggle.
Into the darkness, we bring our light. We light this candle for peace. May it shine for all who understand that for peace to come, we must work for justice. Into the darkness, we bring our light.
We light this candle for love. May it shine for all who give freely of themselves to others, caring and sharing from their hearts.
Into the darkness, we bring our light. We light this candle for hope. May it shine for all who have faith that we truly can build a better world for all people everywhere.
So let us continue together in the darkness. Listen to its music as the candles dance. The darkness is powerful, but so is the light we can bring. A candle is a small thing, but when one light touches another, the flame increases. The power of it grows.
You are such a light. You have the power to brighten the darkness when the birth of a light in you is passed on to others, when one heart kindles another.
Our hearts are aflame with the beauty of this cold winter's night. With only the light of our candles to guide us, let us recall the ancient story of Jesus' birth by singing together that most beautiful of carols, Silent Night. You are a light in this world. Each of you, a beautiful light. Let your light shine. Let us hold up our candles and let our light shine. We can bring light to the world, my friends. We can bring light to this world so in need of it. Look around you and see how beautiful we are together. We are the light of the world. And one more time, Silent Night. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Our closing words come from Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled,
When the star in the sky is gone,
when the kings and the shepherds are back with their flocks,
the work of Christmas begins.
to find the lost,
To heal the broken,
to release the prisoner,
to rebuild the nations,
to bring peace among all peoples.
and to make music in the heart.
As we go forth on this splendid night with peace in our hearts, take one last look at these beautiful candles and trust that the lights we have lit tonight will continue to shine in our hearts. As we sing together Carol 237, the first Noel, I invite you to believe in the magic of Christmas and be full of joy, even as we must return this room to bright light once again. Number 237. And now may we leave here with the song of the angels in our hearts, committing ourselves to living so that peace and joy may truly come to all on earth. Blessings on us all. Merry Christmas and good night.